So I did a video called Life and Death, I believe, about a month ago. And, I talked about the good things about being alive, right? Which is good. There are more good things about being alive than bad things being dead, of course, right? But I started thinking, me thinking all the time, right? So I started thinking, what are the good things about death? What are the good things about death? Are there any good things about death? Now, I'm not talking about the religious people out there thinking, well, there's heaven out there and you're going to go to heaven and live forever in the spirit world. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about death, when you die, over, right? So, good things about death. So, one good thing about death is you don't have to ever worry about anything ever again, right? You don't never have to worry about anything. Problems in life, issues in life. You never have to worry about any of that ever again. There's no problems anymore. You don't even have to worry about death anymore, because if you're dead, you don't have to worry about dying anymore, right? So you don't have to even worry about death, right? So if you're dead, you don't have to worry about death. That's interesting, right? Think about it. Because it's not like you're dead and then you're dead again, And there are some crazy people out there like, yeah, well, I almost died and I could see myself. I could look at my body from overhead and wow, there I am. Imagination. Anyway, death is death, period. End of story. So what are the good things? You don't have to be, you don't have to sit in traffic anymore. Isn't that nice, huh? You don't have to. I live in Oklahoma, and believe it or not, they're some of the worst drivers in the world. They really are. Unfortunately, they are. I mean, they cut into your lane with no blinkers. They cut into your lane with no blinkers. Most of them never wear seatbelts. What else? They'll be in the middle lane, you'll be in the left lane, they'll cut right over to make a left turn, they'll cut right in front of you. You always have, on Oklahoma highways or streets or anything for that matter, you have to be aware of not so much of how you're driving, but really of how everyone else is driving, because they're really bad drivers. I'm from New Jersey. Well, I lived most of my life in New Jersey. I was born in Philadelphia. And I'll tell you, believe it or not, the drivers that are in New Jersey drive better than the ones in Oklahoma. I hate to say that against Oklahoma, but it's very true. And especially the big guys with the big trucks, the big trucks, they think they own the road, so they cut you off and all that shit. So you don't have to ever worry about these guys anymore. You don't have to worry about those assholes cutting you off out of the blue, Who else? You don't even have to worry about other humans anymore, right? You don't have to deal with other human bullshit. You want to just be left alone in peace. You just want to live your life. You don't have to worry about anybody else's bullshit getting into your shit, You don't have to worry about being robbed or being raped or being defamed or, like at your workplace. I'm not going to name where I work at. I never do. I never will. But wherever you work at, you don't have to worry about being told what to do anymore or given unnecessary tasks or tasks that don't even make any sense. I mean, you don't have to worry about any of that shit no more. That's a good thing. In the summertime, you don't have to worry about insects biting you. I'm allergic to bees, so I don't have to worry about bees ever biting me again, or I won't have to worry about, ticks or fleas or gnats or flies flying around and landing on your food and shit, and you have to throw your food away. You cook a really great meal, right? You cook a really nice meal. You walk away for a moment, you come back, there's a fly right on your steak. You have to throw the whole fucking steak away. At least I do. Some people maybe eat it or fucking wash it off. No, I'll throw the fucking thing away. Because I don't know where that fly's been. Fly could have been all over the steak, and the old parasites and shit, and land. They eat shit actually, and it just grosses me out. I have to throw the whole fucking meal away. You don't have to worry about that. See, you don't have to worry about tornadoes or earthquakes or volcanoes or typhoons or what else they have out there, or fucking comets or meteorites coming out of the blue and hitting the earth. What else you don't have to be concerned about when you're dead? Shit, all kinds of things, or fly by, like you could be walking down the street and two other people could be fighting. One shoots a gun and hits you in the head or paralyzes you. Excuse me, from the neck down. You never have to worry about that anymore. So you don't ever have to worry about your house catching on fire, or your apartment catching on fire, or your car blowing up, the radiator catching fire, the rubber hoses catching fire and blowing up your engine. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to ever worry about paying any more taxes anymore. You don't have to worry about gasoline taxes, federal income taxes, state income taxes, local taxes, utility taxes, universal taxes, I don't know. You don't have to worry about all the global bullshit around the world anymore. You don't have to worry about the UN anymore, the WTO, the NATO, or any of that shit, HMO. You don't have to worry about if you have health care or don't have health care. You don't have to worry about breaking your leg. You don't have to worry about, having a neck brace. You don't have to worry about if you're going to go into a coma or go unconscious someday, You don't have to worry about even getting old anymore. You don't have to be concerned with the idea of, well, someday I'm going to get old and get frail, maybe senile or Parkinson's disease or whatever. I don't have to ever be concerned about that no more. What else? You don't ever have to worry about fires or like hit and run drivers or drowning, or your plane all of a sudden in the sky, a malfunction and 300 people go down into the ground or into the waters or whatever have you. You never have to worry about dying because of somebody didn't inspect that plane properly or whatever. What else? There's so many things. There's a lot of good things about dying in a way. Not that I profess that. I'm not. Hopefully I live another good 20 years or so, of course. But I mean, also, but when you really think about it, there's a lot of good things about dying too. Not that you want it to happen anytime soon, but when it does happen, just think of the things that you won't miss. But I mean, there's a lot of things you won't miss. There's a lot of good things in life too. Don't get me wrong. But, but there's a lot of good things about dying too when it's over, right? Like when you fall in love and everything's happy and the whole world's happy and you're gliding and everything's just perfect and no one can do any wrong and you're the happiest guy in town or happiest girl in town, and all of a sudden eventually that relationship breaks up and you're depressed and you're suicidal and the whole world's coming to an end. You don't have to worry about that no more. No more heartache. See, what else? You don't have to worry about feeding yourself. You don't have to worry about eating. Make sure you have a meal, or any kind of meal. You don't have to worry about even drinking a glass of water, dehydrating completely. You don't have to worry about being out there on the desert and wind up dying in the desert from heat stroke or not being able to get any fluids into your system. Let's see, what else? All kinds of stuff, right? And on the other side of the fence, you don't have to worry about going to prison or being hanged or electrocuted or firing squad. I don't know if they have firing squads anymore in America. They should, but they don't. I always say a good electrocution is the best way to go for those criminals that commit these horrific, brutal crimes. But on the other hand, those people don't have to go through that shit no more once they're dead. See, what else? I mean, think about it. I was just the other day I was thinking. I did a video on life and death and all the good things about life, but then I started thinking, there's a lot of shit that is good when you die. Actually, all the shit you don't have to do anymore. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to worry about going to work anymore. All right? You don't have to deal with the government anymore. You don't have to deal with any bullshit, all the politics. You don't have to deal with politics anymore. You don't even have to think. You don't have to think anymore. You don't have to feel. Really, your mind regulates your heart. So it appears like you're feeling, but it's really between sensory perceptions, through your five senses in your mind, is pretty much is the experience. And so you don't have to go through any of that anymore. You don't have to think in terms of homicide or suicide or what that. Remember, Kevorkian used to put people to death if they consented to it because they were they're like 70 years old or whatever the hell they are, maybe even younger, and there's really bad disease they have or something, and they really have no life. So this guy gives them some kind of medicine, and they die, self-suicide or whatever the hell it is, but through a doctor, a doctor. Kevorkian was a doctor, but he made him out to be like, well, he's a bad doctor. So anyway, but you don't ever have to go through assisted suicides anymore or any of that shit, See what else? You don't have to worry about having your rent late. You don't have to worry about having your mortgage late. You don't have to worry about your car payment being late. You don't have to worry about utilities being shut off. All kinds of stuff. A lot of good things out of being dead. Think about it, Like I say, not that I want, or anyone for that matter, to. Because hopefully you learn in life how to solve problems and try to rectify problems and try to minimize certain things so these things don't go on. But in your life, but still, when you really think about it, because we're all going to be dead, I know the religious people say, no, I'm not. But you're going to be dead. And, but just think all the sort of in a way, the good things, quote unquote, the good things that happen when you're dead. What else? You don't have to worry about the IRS being up your ass. You don't have to worry about hearing from the president every so often, giving him State of the Union address and all this bullshit and all the agendas that they have. You don't have to deal with the FBI looking into your, breaking all the your Fourth Amendment rights and your First Amendment rights. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about the ATF fucking around with your Second Amendment rights. You don't have to worry about the NSA spying on you all the time. You don't have to worry about the CIA fucking with your life. You don't have to worry about drone programs, and don't have to worry about your in-laws. You don't have to worry about your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, all that shit if you have bad in-laws or anything. You don't even have to worry about your spouse. If you have a bad spouse, you don't have to worry about that person anymore. If you have a friend that wound up being your worst enemy, you don't have to worry about him or her. So I'm on. But I pretty much get the point. I don't want to have this. This can go on. The list is long. All the good things that can happen once you're dead, all the things that you wind up leaving behind when you're dead. There's a lot of good things in a strange way on a very extremely long list that I have yet to even speak about. That are in a way good when you're dead, because all the negative shit in life you don't have to deal with once you're dead. So I won't make this. So I'm going to end on this point. I just thought of this. I'm going to end on this point. So you don't have to hear from my fucking face anymore once you're dead. Anyway, you guys have a good day.